but I'm still your same old host. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Puckett, and we got a broken desk for you today. Sideshow lost his battle against Gravity alongside Crumbs, and so Sideshow, what happened?
I was unfortunately snowboarding, and apparently I can't snowboard. That was the end conclusion.
At least it wasn't your right arm.
That's true. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to take notes.
Yeah.
Illustrate things.
You can still mercy for us. We still love you, Sideshow. We got a lot to talk about today, and we got to catch you up. If you missed stage one, here's where we landed at the end of our first 5 weeks. At the very top, it was New York Excel, but a lot of shakeups in the top 6 here as we went into the final week.
I think it's fair to say that at this point, Stage 2 has at least half of the teams making a legitimate run to be the best team in the Overwatch League. So if you're not excited about that level of competition, I don't know what gets you up in the morning.
Let's take a look at today's schedule. We should remind everybody at home, it's a brand new stage, a brand new start. The Stage 2 finals, it's only about these 10 matches you're going to play. In the first match of the day, we got a good one. It's the 7-3 Dynasty going up against the Valiant. We got a rematch of the Fuel versus the Dragons, and we close it out with the hometown squad, the Gladiators, going up against the San Francisco Shock.
Crazy games, and the greatest thing about Stage 2 as well is that all of these games are rematches. We've seen what these guys can do before, but new patch, new maps, who knows what's going to happen.
Los Angeles, are you guys ready? Let's make some noise for our first team. Give it up for the Seoul Dynasty. The Dynasty enters the stage today with a 7-3 record, but this was the #1 squad in a lot of our experts' minds at the start of the season. You look at their last 5 matches, though, they've dropped 3 of them, and their 2 wins came in Game 5.
Exactly. They didn't finish as strong as we expected, but that should be no reason to count this team out. The break must have done wonders for them, being able to take a step back and assess what they struggled with. I think this team is going to come out swinging today.
Yeah, they're definitely one of the teams who will be benefiting from the new patch, with Toby possibly on Lucio and Ryu on Senna, Anna. God knows what he's going to give us today on that stage. Seoul support department might be back to its former glory.
Yes, and when you actually look at the players that they've fielded here, which was, they were kind of experimenting a little bit between Stage 1, but this would seem to indicate that they're playing more aggressive dive compositions. They have Fleder along with Bunny, who pretty much only played the Tracer, and then they've got their core kind of tank lineup and support lineup. Having said that, it's the new meta. We have no idea what to expect. The Overwatch League is probably going to throw wild things at us today.
What was that? There's only 15 people cheering for Fleta. Something is wrong here in the venue. Seoul Dynasty ready to play here in Stage 2, but they're taking on the hometown crowd. Give it up for the LA Valiant. So many local fans coming out to cheer on their top squad from Los Angeles. This team improved every step of the way throughout Stage 1. They didn't make it to the playoffs, though, in the slight slip up to Boston Week 4.
Yeah, they didn't sign any new players for this stage, however, they did make some changes regardless. The head coach, Cuddles, has been replaced with veteran Korean Overwatch coach MBC, who led Mighty AOD, which included the Valiant players Fate as well as Karif. So they do have that pre-existing kind of synergy already.
When we look at this lineup, Sideshow, who gets you excited? What are you looking forward to seeing from this team?
What I'm looking forward to as well is what they're going to go for. Kind of what strategy are they coming into this with? Because we saw the quad tank come out. We saw that guy there soon have such great performances when he's on the Tracer. So do they work off their massive DPS talents? Do they go back to kind of tankier comps? Who knows?
So I think what we can expect out of the Valiant team is that these guys pride themselves upon teamwork. In the Overwatch League, you have 5 players that have a 55% or higher elimination participation, which means that everybody's being involved in that. And the Valiant have 3 out of those 5 players, which is Soon, Fate, and Envy. And those guys, contrasted to the Seoul Dynasty, just mean that they play as a team better than almost anybody else.
We know Unko was out for a little bit in Stage 1. He came back, the team started succeeding again. Today, Verbo's in the lineup instead of Karif. What are you thinking, Sideshow?
I mean, I'm obviously thinking that Verbo's going to be playing the Lucio here. It's the hero that he's been known most for. Having said that, we've seen teams elsewhere in the world outside of the Overwatch League playing on the new patch, and they've been experimenting with stuff like Moira.
Even Torb.
Torb, for sure. And we've also seen Mercy kind of stay in occasionally. So we don't really know what to expect from the lineup, but I think Lucio would be the safest bet if you were going to place one.
Don't lie to your friends. In matchmaking, Torb is not a support hero. Let's talk a little bit about the matchup here, because this is a rematch that we saw in Stage 1. Now it's a new patch, but in the first meeting, What did you see when the Valiant was able to take down Seoul Dynasty?
Yeah, that was a really surprising one as well, because when they went into it, we still Seoul were on such a crazy win streak. Then they lost to the two other top teams. They lost to New York, and then they got slammed by London. And we're thinking, is this just Seoul about to bounce back? But no, the LA Valiant crushed them. It was 3-0. They drew on Anubis, and they looked fairly decent there. But the rest of the time, the LA Valiant outplayed them strategically and with those big DPS plays.
Yeah, individually, as we saw on the screen there, Unko outplaying Gito a bunch of times on Zenyatta. But what struck me the most was that initially Fleta came out as this powerhouse of the Pharah matchup, but the Valiant were actually able to give Fleta a run for their money, being able to take him down in aerial superiority, which you never see happen. So the fact that these guys were able to be on the same level that the Seoul Dynasty was individually makes a world of a case for these guys being one of the best teams.
Keep your eyes on those two players. Unko and Fate are going to be crucial for LA if they're going to get another win today. Real quick, let's talk the maps. Stage 2, we got 4 new maps coming to you in this first matchup. Nepal, Kings Row, Route 66. Volskaya, though, is going to be map number 1. Crumbs, what should we expect in our first game?
Well, we got to expect a lot of snowball happening because we are in Russia. There is a lot to offer from this map when it comes to players, or teams rather, unlocking the first one and going straight onto the second one. There's a lot of strong defender points, which means that the attacking team has to be very quick on their feet in switching up their composition to making sure that they're doing the right job.
So a lot of people are excited about that map. Kings Row is back in the mix, and this is a fan favorite.
It is not just a fan favorite, it's also a player favorite. And I talked to the Seoul coach, and he did tell me that their team is actually experiencing the highest win rate in their internal practice runs and scrims on Kings Row. Generally, it really fits their play style, but I think you said most teams feel that way about
Yeah, every team seems to like Kings Row, and scrim information, you usually just take it with a big grain of salt.
Sideshow, this is the first match of Stage 2. The first time we're seeing this level of professional play on the new maps, the new meta. What are you looking forward to as an analyst? What should everyone at home be looking out for?
So when the Seoul Dynasty core used to play Volskaya previously, Jae Hong, who's obviously normally their superstar support player, was going on to the Mei pick, and that was fantastic on point B. We also saw them work around their Sombra, which was so good. So I want to see Sombra and Mei coming out from these guys.
Jeff, we know you had to do it to him. That's enough from us here at the desk. Much love to the crowd here in LA. It's time to get this party started as we send it backstage.
That's right. Don Monte Cristo here to get things going with Seoul Dynasty versus LA Valiant. Our first match here in Overwatch League Stage 2. I'm so excited, man. New maps, new meta, theoretically, new additions, roster swaps. There's like a lot more new stuff going into this stage than I expected, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked a little bit on the desk there about how we saw things maybe changing for the Seoul Dynasty, with Toby being able to play much more comfortably on the Lucio. But with Verbo in this lineup, you think, okay, the Lucio's probably going to be coming back for the Valiant as well. And we're going to be rolling back the clock a little bit to some Tracer Genji dive, most likely from the Valiant, which has long been one of their most comfortable compositions.
Yeah, that's right. And on the Seoul Dynasty side of things, we've got exciting stuff like Zunba maybe playing a lot more Zarya going forward, maybe a bit more of that triple tank look that we saw a lot before. But what's great about this is that I think we can take all the good stuff from like mid-2017 and add to it the fact that Mercy is still definitely playable. She still can bring up the Widowmaker, the McCree that would normally be too dangerous to run because they die so easily, but without that crazy rezzing during team fights. So I think this meta going forward, I'm predicting it's going to be very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, and we are probably still going to see some level of Mercy, particularly on defense or when paired with Pharah. So it's not like she's been completely pushed out of the meta at all.
Well, like I said, with the Widowmaker, with the McCree, I think there's still very good reasons you want to have a Mercy in there to bring them back up when they fall, especially on the Widowmaker side. And Valkyrie is still like an excellent AoE healing ultimate. You're a mobile supercharger, so there's still a lot of good things about Mercy. She's just not going to be in every single map, which I am totally okay with.
I am also totally okay with this. And I think it's going to be really good to see the different diversity in terms of support compositions that people are going to be able to bring. I'm excited to see a lot more Lucio back. He does enable, with that speed boost, a lot of the deep dives that we have traditionally been able to watch in Overwatch that create some very exciting moments as the DPS get onto the support line.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, we're going to see, just kind of thinking back to what we saw a lot of before, maybe some more of like Pharah without the Mercy too. On a map like Kings Row that we're going to see a little bit later. That's certainly something we used to see a lot of. I'm just like so pumped because there's these maps actually, for me personally, the maps we have in our map pool this time are some of my favorite maps in the game. So I'm psyched about Stage 2 on like a totally non-professional personal level.
Well, and as we saw a lot of Widowmaker-focused maps in the pool during Stage 1, what's interesting is historically many of the maps in Stage 2 have been Sombra-focused maps. If we look at Volskaya, if we look at maps like Route 66. So I think we're going to see a significant uptick in Sombra play as well.
Well, especially Route 66. I mean, Sombra defense on point A is still like one of the strongest like hero map point combinations you have in Overwatch. I mean, we saw so many full holds back in Apex when we were doing that last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it all is really about all of the hack hacking. That's what I meant to say. Hack packing.
Oh,
it's like backpacking, but yes, you pack in the hacks. But based around point A and those 2 mega health packs, it does make it even faster to get the EMP. She really does function as a secondary support in that situation, providing so much continuous healing for the team.
Yeah, that's right. So right now we're trying to get everybody into the lobby. It looks like we've almost got everyone there.
We're nearly there.
On one person. I'm not going to call him out. I'm not going to call out the person we're waiting for because I don't want to feel bad, you know. But I know who you are. I can see it. Get in the lobby now. Get in there.
It's Jay-Hong.
Oh, man, you blew his cover. You blew his cover. I don't like to speak harshly to Jae-Hong. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I think he's in there now. So I think we should be about ready to get started with our map pretty soon here. But yeah, going forward here, this is an interesting matchup because out of the 2 all-Korean rosters, right, London and New York, they both beat Seoul. The only other team Seoul lost to in Stage 1 were the LA Valiant, and here they are today in the first match of Stage 2. Maybe a bit of a rivalry, but we are ready to finally get things started here on Volskaya Industries.
And it was a huge win for the Valiant, too. It really did open up a lot of the other possible playoff opportunities for the end of Stage 1. And it was a convincing win, because the only thing Seoul did was tie on Temple of Anubis. So every other map went the Valiant's way.
Yep, that's right. And here we are, guys. Volskaya Industries, our first new map of the new maps we've got in the pool. Well, new to us anyway, in the Overwatch League. Volskaya Industries, in case you're not familiar with it, is an assault map. So it's one of those maps where you take point A, that unlocks your ability to take point B, and if you can do that, you get 2 points. Your opponent has to match. It's attack, it's defense. Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. And honestly, this is a strong map type, or it has been overall for Seoul. Some of the best maps that we've seen from Seoul Dynasty have been on these assault types. So we'll see if they can match the speed of the Valiant in this first map here of Stage 2.
True enough, and Fleta action, of course, too, a player that a lot of us would say was arguably the best DPS of Stage 1, despite Seoul's kind of disappointing results towards the end of it. And Agility's already taking the Torbjorn dive, I guess.
Everybody's taking a dive off the map there to start things off on the side of the Valiant. It will be Unko on the Sombra, as we can expect frequently here on Volskaya defense.
Yeah.
And it will be Agilities and Soon playing the dive. So for those of you who have not seen professional play on Volskaya before, everything about point A is about mobility on this high ground surrounding the point. Most of the Sombras are going to be hacking the mega health pack that we're taking a look at on the screen right now through that doorway, and the attacking side frequently needs to muscle their way into that room and stand on top of the pack to prevent the defense from charging the EMP.
That's the idea. So the hack on the health pack already, and here we go. Stage 2 of the Overwatch League underway. Seoul Dynasty versus LA Valiant. Fleta looking for targets, facing a little bit of pressure from behind, but now sneaking around the side. Meanwhile, like you said, Monte Cristo, the rest of the Seoul team looking at trying to get in on that health pack. They might go all the way around. Ooh, they may just go right on the point here. They're gonna do it. All right. Simba trying to get in there. Fleta finds Verbo with a shot early on. Simba backs out, gets D-Mech. A little bit of danger there. Fleta fighting for his life. Soon, I think, may have gotten him. Fate came in for that kill. Meanwhile, Simba getting a little bit delayed here. Finally cut down by Agilities. A little bit of time taken. I need to go hiding here.
It's a 3-on-3 on the point right now. It's only Unko and Soon for the side of the Valiant. It's Buddy and Toby, but there's the EMP hacking too.
Yeah, Unko finishes him off, and it looks like Valiant are going to be able to hold just for the moment anyway.
Now that was looking really dangerous until the EMP came online because of the additional sustain that was offered by Toby staying alive with the Lucio on the point. So that was actually a good use of EMP to hold.
Well, that's what happens with Sombra on this point. You've got that big health pack right there, and you get your EMP so fast that you pretty much have it every fight. Both Fate coming in hard, man. He's going deep. Funny has that pulse bomb loaded up, Fate a bit low. Miro goes down. He dives a bit too deep. There goes Verbo. Funny cutting everybody down. And maybe, just maybe, this is going to be enough for Seoul. Yeah, they are taking Valiant out easily at that. looks like it's gonna be point A for Seoul.
And the only ultimate that had to be used from Seoul was the sound barrier on that push. Bunny charging up that pulse bomb. They will have a Transcendence to push through onto the next point. Unko should be able to reach EMP early on in this next engagement. He will hack the Mega Pack at the start of point B and start poking in outside of the base.
Now, Seoul has a Transcendence on Jaehong. That's a really good tool to move in down the point with, but they've got so much time. 6 minutes on the clock. They can just make a couple economy pushes here, build up some ultimates. We'll see how aggressive they want to get.
Oh, they want to get very aggressive. They switched to Reaper to stand in the Transcendence on the point with the Reapers. So they want to go now, Doa.
Unko down already. That's a good start for Seoul. Agility's waiting it out, waiting to pull that Dragon Blade after the Transcendence ends. Fleta does go down due to Envy's self-destruct, and it looks like Valiant may have been able to hold here. Yeah, Seoul falling back a bit. Miro low, gets cut down. That's a reset from Seoul.
Envy absolutely saved that. They killed Unko before the EMP could come out, which prompted the Transcendence to be used. And with the man advantage, it would have been very easy for them to clean up the point with the use of the Reaper. They were still waiting on Agilities. Agilities held his Dragon Blade.
Yeah,
why the entire engagement, and Unko now worked up to the EMP. So Seoul is going to have to probably make several pushes here to actually go ahead and take this point.
Wow, Unko just EMP'd in the little room. Not sure how many people he actually caught with that. Bunny takes him out. Not maybe the best. Fleta does go down though. Agility's coming in. They've got Seoul backed up a bit here. Maybe something they can capitalize on. Agility's falling back to the point with only 49 HP. He's gotta be careful here. And it looks like Seoul exiting. Oh no, you forgot your Jaehong. He's gonna take the death taxi back.
Well, unfortunately, the Jaehong can't get out of there very quickly on this Zenyatta. Stuck there around the corner. And so Agilities, again, continues to hold on to the Dragon Blade. Good communication so far from the Valiant. Unko, I think, panic EMP'd a bit early, but still was followed up on by the rest of his teammates. You can see he's going to be trying to get in from behind people right now before using that translocator just to get out, heal up, to keep on charging that EMP by poking.
Oh, Bunny a bit low. I think he had the recall there. Meanwhile, Soon grabs a hacked health pack. Fleta down to about half HP, gets a bit of healing in. Soon trapped in the room. Got to be careful here. Uses a recall, but Miro does go down. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the fight, Soon breaking out of the room now. Has to back away. Still fighting that 1v1 with Bunny, which he loses. Meanwhile, Seoul coming in with the sound barrier. Sound barrier on the side of LA Valiant, and Agilities pulls out the Dragon Blade. But there's the Transcendence from Jaehong. Dragon Blade nullified. Fate goes down.
Coming in. Unko gonna die before he can use it.
Oh man, self-destruct comes out. Fleta avoids it though with the Wraith form. Bunny not so lucky here, but Seoul with still a few people on the point. They're gonna throw out their own self-destruct and zone people out just enough. But to get ready, he's going to go ahead and try to use that Death Blossom. He gets Soon. Oh, but he gets taken out by Fate. And the respawns from Valiant look like they might be enough here, although Miro getting Envy. No, they're going to have to fall back. They did get not even a single tick, actually, from that.
I mean, Jaehong switched to the Soldier 76 to try and make it back here, too, Doa. So
no kidding.
That's not going to be useful for them. He did just go ahead and use the Transcendence, so he didn't lose a lot of ult charge.
No, not really.
By going and making that swap. He's going to have to run all the way back to the spawn now. Is going to decide to go for the Ana instead. That was nearly a disaster for the Valiant. Agilities definitely didn't anticipate that Transcendence was up. Used the Dragon Blade quite early on and got it basically entirely nullified by the Orb of Discord that landed on his head and by the Transcendence itself. So
I'm shocked though that Seoul didn't get at least a tick on that with how well that fight was going early on. And ooh, this fight not going so good for Seoul. They've already lost both supports. So now it's just the DPS and the tanks seeing what they can do. Zunba D-Mech though, it's not gonna be much. Goodbye Zunba. And that's gonna be Valiant holding strong here. About 220 in the clock now. Envy using his self-destruct at the end there. Not sure if that was totally necessary.
Yeah, he wanted to re-mech is the reason why, because he wasn't going to get a chance to use the Bunny Blaster to build his charge up, and he would have been without a mech in the next fight. So it's a tough call to make, but I think you do have to make that decision in that situation. You've got 2 minutes left, plenty of time to build up another ult so far, and you know you have the EMP and the Dragon Blade, so you're feeling okay.
The dive. Seoul coming in right now. Dragon Blade from Agilities. Gonna help him get Jaehong right away. There goes Miro. Now he's going to the back lines. He's gotten enough. Bunny takes him out though. But it looks like that's going to be Seoul having to reset. Now, if you're Seoul Dynasty, you're starting to get a little bit worried here. You've got a couple ultimates coming online soon, but man, you've only got about a minute and a half left, and Valiant has a wealth of ultimates to use.
And this is where we saw Valiant in week 5 of stage 1, Noah, with that fantastic communication, great conservation of their ult economy. Again, all they used was the Dragon Blade right there. They've been sitting on another pile of ultimates. Seoul has not found the opportunities to really move ahead and use this. Like, are they going to Beyblade the point? What's the plan here with this Ana?
I'll go with the EMP. Pulse Bomb goes in soon afterwards. They're going to use the sound barrier to keep everybody on Valiant healthy. Soon the demeched already. Miro soon to fall. No health there. He was still hacked, and Valiant holding strong. That is about as clean as it gets. Envy got demeched at the end, but that was a pretty strong fight for Valiant. Now just 50 seconds left for Seoul.
I mean, Jaehong can't stay alive on this Ana right now. He is being dove so quickly by the side of the Valiant and killed first in many of these engagements that we've seen, and he's got the nano boost finally now. It's been a long time coming. Well, how are they going to use it? Is it going on to Miro? Is it going to go on to Fleta once they make it to the point?
This is the push. This is the push Seoul needs to make something happen with. Bunny gets Unko right away. Grenade comes in. Jaehong gonna go ahead and power up somebody.
Nano boost onto Fleta.
That's right. He is a powered up Reaper coming in, still saving that Death Blossom too. Agility's a bit low. 1 tick already for Seoul. Now the self-destruct. Fleta's got the Wraith for him. He's gonna be able to dodge it like we can see. And now, can they handle the respawns from Valiant? 2 ticks already. They're getting so close. Fleta pops the Death Blossom now. Everybody backing away, but Unko takes him down. And now Jaehong just trying to keep his team alive. Agility's with the Dragon Blade, looking for kills, getting pushed back though. Not sure how much he's gonna get from that one. Nothing. Zunba gets him. And now the respawn's getting handled here. If they can kill Fate fast,
Sound barrier should be able to help them, though. I think this should be it for Dynasty. Yes, it will be.
Ooh, in OT, Envy comes in, last-ditch effort, but that is that. And Seoul Dynasty in overtime will take 2 points.
That was a nail-biter in the end, though.
Yeah.
The nano boost didn't end up even being that effective. So aside from landing the grenade onto Envy on the Diva, the Ana was sort of not the best pick for the attack in that situation because it was handled time and time again by the Valiant.
You got to give Seoul a little bit of credit, though, with the way that they would push in. And even though they were losing these fights, throughout that, quietly, they were building up this big ultimate advantage where they came into at the end, and it was like something like 5 ults to 1 or something. And when you're in that situation, it gets a bit scrappy with the respawns, but they were able to, you know, put it all together in the end anyway.
Yeah, but I guess it's good they took that last point, but they used a lot of time in order to take point B, and it was a very good hold.
Well, they used all their time to take point B.
It was a very good hold by the Valiant, so we'll see if Seoul can actually put something together here. Looks like Fleta will be the one playing this Sombra on the defensive side for the Dynasty, which means we are going to see a triple support look.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of consider Sombra as sort of filling that third support role since you're there a lot to provide the extra fast healing from the health pack, the utility from the EMP, a little bit of damage, but mostly just kind of taking away the ability of the attacking team to defend themselves.
This composition, I think, is really risky for Seoul. You have very little damage, especially at range with the Sombra and with the Tracer. So if we see something like Agilities is looking at right now with a high ground attack with the Soldier 76, it is going to be up to Zunba to really, and Miro to control that Soldier on the high ground, but the poke damage that can come in is absolutely enormous. So I think this is super risky from Seoul, and I'm skeptical that it is going to work, but we'll see how well they can execute it.
I think they know they need a little bit of a pretty big hold on point A if they want to get themselves in position to eat up all the time on point B. Valiant coming into it with a bit of an edge, just in that Seoul was an OT when they took it. Diving into the room now. Valiant coming around the side. Looks like they're going to take this left side, try to get Soldier on that high ground like you talked about. Seoul doesn't want to let him do it though. Verbo down. Miro and Fleta grabbing kills early on. The support's taken out on the Valiant side. Agility's trapped in the room with Soon. He's not going to last long. Bunny knocked off the end, but that's a team kill for Seoul.
Quick wipe, and they had to get that because the alternative was if Valiant was allowed to get on the high ground, they tried for an initial dive as they were crossing the open space at the bottom of your screen right there and managed to get them in the second building. But if they get a position on the high ground, it is going to be a disaster for Seoul.
Yep.
So they have to intercept them before they can get there. They're going to keep trying.
That's the plan. Seoul knows exactly where they are. They've got them in that little room right now. Can Can they take advantage of that? Envy jetting across here, using a charge of Zumba, meanwhile tries to go the back line, has to back away. I think Agility was in there too. They're
separated right now, so the Valiant are opposite in these two rooms, so if they can try and get everybody else out, Soon is bringing up the rear, finally makes it up top, so they have managed to get onto the high ground now. This is where they want to be.
Well, he's going to have that tactical visor pretty soon too on the Silver 76, so if he can stay alive long enough to use it, that could be good. Miro coming in, Unko down already. Miro has that primal rage, just batting the EMP! What an EMP from Fleta. And that turned out pretty well for Seoul.
Soon is still alive, and we see Jaehong chasing him down on the backside of the point right now. He's going to recall again. Oh, what a shot!
Yeah, that's Jaehong, man. That's Jaehong.
What a shot there on the recall. Great predict. But
he knew where he was going to be.
We'll stagger the spawn a little bit, but meanwhile, Valiant have been working up all their ultimates right now. There isn't going to be an EMP to start this next fight, but that EMP, when they were all in that room, pushed them back, and the EMP was great execution from Seoul.
Fleta firing away, trying to build up another EMP here is Valiant on the left side. They do have a lot of ultimates to work with here. Jaehong's Transcendence could be big. He really needs to time it well if they're going to defend this one.
The thing with the EMP is that when they're attacking this other side, it doesn't charge so quickly because the defenders can't fall back to the Mega Health Pack very quickly or easily.
Yeah. All right, they've actually got...
They isolated Envy.
Oh, man, Envy a little bit separated. He's going to get demeched away from the rest of his team. They have to dive the point right now, but Fleta has that EMP, trying to get the hack off onto Fate, get a translocate back again to the safety of the room with the health pack. Now the Transcendence comes in from the Valiant side of things, but Fate and Soon go down. This attack ending up looking a bit scattered from the Valiant side.
Self-destruct, the only ultimate use on the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Fleta builds his EMP back up throughout the duration of that fight. So we are going to see a pretty even final fight here when it comes to those ultimates.
Well, this is crazy, man, because Seoul struggled to take point B, yeah, but now Valiant really struggling to take point A. This next attack is gonna maybe just be it for them.
Seoul is doing a great job of dividing and conquering the Valiant on this attack. They are punishing them before they can get to the high ground, and even when they got there, pushed them back into the room into the waiting arms of Fleta's EMP. So this has been masterful defense from Seoul.
This is so threatening from Bunny, man. He can get to the back line, so that pulse bomb out. Agility is down already. Rough start for Valiant here. They're gonna drop the sound barrier, but it doesn't save their 76. Bunny's been sitting on that pulse bomb for so long, and the patience is paying off. Valiant has to back off. One last-ditch attack incoming.
Verbo was waiting for the EMP to use the sound barrier, but it didn't have any value because Envy was already getting demeched in the process right there. So that was a very poor use of the sound barrier on what was a very crucial attack with 5 seconds remaining.
Oh, Bunny goes in. Oh, I think that might have gotten eaten there. Jaehong in with the Transcendence. We're into OT. Somebody's on the point right now. I'm going to bet you it's soon. Verbo and Unko down. They got to get back to the point, though. Somebody's on there backcapping. Agility's and Envy rushing to get there. I don't know if Valiant can pull this one off. Fleta down. It was Agility's on the Soldier, I believe. Now can Seoul handle the rest of these respawns? Nearly 2 ticks already. Agility's falls. Fate getting low. Pops that Primal Rage in the end. Meanwhile, Envy demeched yet again. And once they take out Fate, that may just be it. That is it. And Seoul Dynasty will take Volskaya Industries.
Wow, hold on point A. And Valiant could never get themselves together fast enough to prevent them from being intercepted on their way to the point, having somebody dove. They tried several different styles of attack. Soon led the charge in their first one, ended up trying to fight Bunny off of the rear of their column in the second one, but it just didn't work out. Seoul Dynasty had an answer for everything, packing them into these rooms to get these glorious EMPs.
Now, what a first map, and what a big deal for Seoul Dynasty as well, because remember, they didn't take a single map off Valiant last time. All they did was tie one of them. Don't go anywhere, guys. Map number 2 coming up right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. what did we do to deserve such incredible Overwatch?
Stage 2 is the first time we've seen a really dramatic change.
I'm ready for stage 2. I'm pretty excited about Lucio coming back into the meta.
흥미롭고 진짜 이 스테이지에는 진짜 게임이 열릴 것 같고 재밌을 것 같아요. 오.
We got a new patch, we got a new meta.
Nobody knows how things are going to go. Everything could change. This is like a whole new season.
The team that can adapt the fastest is going to come out strong.
Probably more tank comps.
메르시가 죽음으로써 다른 힐러들이 좀 편할 것 같아서.
The map I'm excited for most is King's Row.
I like King's Row. To play Reinhardt. People say I cannot play Reinhardt.
People are people.
Yeah.
Power rankings are going to switch like a ton.
Nobody knows.
한편으로 긴장되고 재밌을 것 같아요.
There's going to be a rotation effect.
I think Seoul might be affected positively. I think Dallas Field and Philly will rise in the rankings.
발리언트도 되게 항상 이상으로 잘할 것 같아요. 거기가.
Everybody has been waiting for this moment.
What's also exciting about Stage 2 is there's no way that process will be complete by the first game.
연습밖에 답이 없죠. 어떻게 적응하냐에 따라.
We practice a lot and we win.
Just gonna grind it really hard.
We're going to see maybe more diverse matchups than we've seen in the past, which is definitely exciting.
I think every single team is going to have a huge change.
생각 없이 하는 돌진 메타 그런 게 없고.
We're coming back Stage 2. What should we expect?
The only way you're going to find out which team is the strongest in Stage 2 is watching Stage 2.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League, and we just saw Seoul Dynasty take out LA Valiant with a full hold on point A. Volskaya Industries. Somber's back, guys.
And this is where we also see the differences that not having Mercy in every composition really makes.
Yeah.
Because positional mistakes are punished much more severely when there isn't a Mercy with an instant res with the Valkyrie. For example, if we had seen old Mercy on that map, oftentimes, I think we would have seen the Valiant be able to use the Mercy ultimate earlier on, make sure they took the high ground, and if anybody died on the way there, a quick res, take the high ground where they would have a distinct advantage with the Soldier 76 range, and it would have been a very different game. But now, those positional errors, if somebody dies on the way to the point, this is why dive is going to be so powerful once again.
And the fun thing is a meta without Mercy in every map means that your execution must be perfect. It is really like a meta of execution. So a lot to look forward to there. And we are on Nepal, our control map in this 4-map series. No subs for either team, as you may have noticed, since we didn't talk about it. We didn't just forget, guys. There's no subs.
Yeah, it is going to be Shrine up first. So this particular point, probably not, but this map is where we might start seeing some more of the Junkrat once again, especially on Sanctum, Junkrat Soldier, or tank-heavy compositions with the Roadhog and the Zarya. Certainly a possibility from what we've seen classically in professional Overwatch. And Shrine, sometimes a point that gives us some Pharah play occasionally. That is...
It's a bit risky, but you do see it every once in a while, I suppose.
Another opportunity to use that here. So a lot of different compositions possible on Shrine. And it looks like we are going to get started in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, all right. So, LA Valiant down 1 game to Seoul Dynasty, but they can tie it up right here, right now, with a win on Nepal. We're going to start things out, like Monte Cristo said, here on Shrine. And it looks like we've got some pretty classic dive coming out from LA Valiant. And a bit of a soldier action from Seoul.
Yeah, poke composition from the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah.
We will have the range advantage, so look for them to abuse that as the Valiant try and make their way to the point. They are going to rotate to the opposite side and try and use this long entrance with Bunny covering the staircase so Soon can't get in from behind.
Yeah, that's right. Seoul got there in a hurry, and now they're playing kind of the defensive game on the point right now as we wait for it to unlock. 3, 2, 1 should be starting soon. Whoa, what a pick for Jaehong. Bait falls as well. Bunny finds another one. And that's a pretty epic start for Seoul Dynasty right there. If he can stay in his mech, all right, that's big.
That was a huge miscommunication from the Valiant. Fate should have been going in first, or at least at the same time as Agilities. He came about a half second later, which in Overwatch is enough time for top teams to get a Discord orb on you and immediately destroy you.
Definitely, and as good as Agilities is, one of the things we've seen a long time from his play is he does tend to go in a little bit early on that Genji sometimes, and got punished for it right there.
Has to be able to coordinate with Fate on that and the rest of his tank line.
Ooh,
However, Bunny, speaking of going a little bit too far in advance, now it will be a 6v5 for the Valiant as they pluck Bunny from the front line.
That's right, nice pick there. Seoul trying to hold, they're gonna go in as Valiant tries to take the point here. Fleta backing up, he's got the D-Mech, and so he's got the attack visor out again, and be taken out. Can he get anyone else? Maybe not quite, has to run from the Winston. Oh, but chased down by Fate. Meanwhile, Agilities has that Dragon Blade out. And Valiant doing their best to try to flip this one. Zunba standing strong with Bunny on the point for the moment, but now it's all about delaying. They just need to buy as much time as they can, and that's about it. So Seoul Dynasty, 56%, but LA Valiant will flip the point and get their own control percent building.
That's right, and everybody using a ton of ultimates on that point. Verbo coming up with a sound barrier, though, is the crucial ult for this next engagement. He has the most impactful ability for this next fight, considering we have 2 self-destructs that are going to be available.
Yep. Soon getting very close to his pulse bomb. The fake down already. Top of you can see Seoul trying to come from that one side. Agility's poking in. Now Soon. Can he get in the back lines? Oh, I think he got the stick onto Miro, but Miro gonna go ahead and use that Primal Rage to stay alive and try to run away.
I mean, he tried to get the Mega Health back, but Soon has been chasing him off, so that Primal Rage has been effectively nullified by Soon.
Yeah, good trading ult for ult. That pulse bomb builds a bit faster. Meanwhile, Sound Barrier comes in for Valiant as they try to keep holding. Seoul nearly flipped it already. Soon pours back in the wall a little bit, trying to finish off Miro. He'll get the kill. They did flip it. Seoul Dynasty managed to take it, and Toby with the double kill at the end. Little bloodthirsty support action is all Seoul needs.
That's some struggling again on the sound barriers from Verbo. He only hit 3 of his teammates because 2 of them were very far forward by the stairwells trying to chase down members of Seoul. So the communication a bit off when it comes to the positioning, not getting a lot of value from the sound barrier, just like we saw in the last map.
True enough. Seoul trying to keep Valiant bottled up.
It is back tapping.
Being sneaky, trying to get down to J-Home here. Can he get the pick? That was a very optimistic pulse bomb. Did not work out. Soon backing off. Now they've got the Transcendency. Only ultimate for Valiant so far. They're going to use it. Some pressure comes in onto Umko. Forced to pop that Zenyatta ultimate. Seoul uses theirs as well as they try to get into the back lines here. Now the attack visor comes out for Fleta. Can he finish soon? He can. That's 1. And now Valiant backing into that hallway, and that's going to be Seoul Dynasty taking the point. Valiant couldn't even get there in the end.
And that's where you needed that sound barrier to be a little bit more effective, either holding on to it for that fight or it being more effective the first time around it was used, because they had to use the Transcendence simply to cross the open ground back to the point.
Yeah.
They get quite challenging on themselves, and it was easy for Seoul to poke them off using the tack visor and the Soldier 76. So Dynasty goes up 1-0 here, and we are heading into Sanctum as our second point.
That's right. If Seoul takes this point, they will win the map. If Valiant wins it, we'll go to a third one.
Wow, this is really interesting, actually. Neither team is going to be using a Junkrat or some more of the tanks like Roadhog that we haven't seen so far. Seoul going to stick with the Soldier Tracer combination with the dive, and
the Pharmacy from Valiant.
Valiant want to use that Pharah Mercy combo.
Yep. Great combo to use on this map. You see that sometimes, and Fate jumping in. Toby's owned a bit. Can he get a boot? No, not quite. We've still got that charge available for the D.Va. Soon boot back, NB D-Max. When he got that big one. Oh, and Fate falls too, so both tanks out of commission for Valiant as Seoul goes onto the point to try to take this one. And J-Hong did get taken out, but it's going to be Seoul getting the control percent going first.
And Seoul rotated faster is what happened there. So 3 members of the Valiant came around the far side of the point towards Seoul's base. Having Fate, Envy, and Soon there, and then they tried to collapse on the high ground, but Seoul already had 6 members, shoved off the DPS of the Valiant, and then turned it immediately onto the tanks.
Yeah, man, they melted them. Now, Seoul tries to hold the choke here. They don't really have the shield, so you can't hold it right at the doorway. You do need to play it a little bit farther back with this composition. But they're keeping Valiant pinned down for the moment. Damn it. Oh, they're going in now. Okay, all right, Winston shield to use. Valiant breaking out. Now it's time. Fleta needs to be kind of careful here. Whoa, that was a close call.
The thing is, Seoul knows as long as they rotate their tanks, alternate the Winston and the D.Va moving forward, because they have the range advantage. Look how far back Fleta was standing on the high ground. There's nothing that can contest them. They can't get through that doorway, and they get chunked little by little, and they can never take out a tank because it's constant. They're cycling in and out and getting healed while they're off the door.
So now Valiant going to try to come from the other side. Maybe drop down, try to come in from behind, but they need to make sure their tanks don't get poked out again like they did last time. Envy getting demeched early really kind of ended that push. You can see Fleta rotating around to the back.
He's
now.
always on the opposite side of the Valiant, and Soon
do?
is not pressuring him because he's standing with his supports right now. Both supports are hanging on to Fleta, so this has been meticulous. Actually,
that was so close.
That was very close. The sound barrier really saved him.
Man, that was a great save from Toby on that sound barrier. Fleta backing off. Soon does go down. Now the Transcendence comes in from Jayhong. Valiant trying to make the best of this one, and they do get Fleta, but we're up to 90% now already for Seoul Dynasty, but Valiant looking like they may be able to flip this one. They do. 92%, and Valiant will take the point.
Yeah, they're going to try and force out what they can right now, see if they can maybe get the Dragon Blade, but it's not going to happen. Agility's wisely conserving that. He still has 3 other teammates. They're going to push their way back onto the point. It's not going to be a capture.
Man, that dive onto Fleta.
That was really well done by the Valiant.
So smart.
So they laid down the pulse bomb and then jumped on him with the Winston, hoping he would back into the pulse bomb if it didn't get stuck. The sound barrier saved him, but they still split up the members of Seoul and used that advantage to take the fight.
Yeah, that was a very cool little move from Valiant there. Now they're going to try to defend the point. Here comes the Dragon Blade. Jayhong down already. And Agility's trying to cut holes in the wall there as he goes back to the point. It's okay. They've already got enough kills. They can hold that one now.
Yeah, here's the issue, though. Valiants are going to be walking back into this. No support ultimates, only a pulse bomb. So Agilities will get the kill onto Zunba, but Seoul is going to come in with a powerful tac visor.
This is one of the points, though, in control maps in general that can be hard to retake once you lose it. So Seoul, no doubt feeling the pressure here.
I mean, the dive has to be perfect here from Valiant. Through these doorways, they've got to get onto it.
Oh, what a shot!
Do it.
Fleta with the Helix rocket, man. He is Robin Hood with that one. Doesn't get much more accurate there. And now the tac visor comes in. Soon in a lot of trouble. Had the orb, but it's not enough. They're going to try to push people back. There goes Verba. That's 2 with the tac visor for Fleta. Miro with the cleanup now. Fate with the primal rage, but doesn't matter. Seoul will go ahead and flip the point right back again. And now Valiant, they need to rush, man. They need to get somebody there. 99, and now we're in OT. Here we go, Valiant trying their best, but Agilities can't stay on the point. There's a pulse bomb onto Fate, and the Transcendence booped off. Toby got Unko. OT ticking, and there's a sound barrier for Seoul, just for good measure. And that will be it. I don't think Valiant can get onto this point again, and Seoul Dynasty will take Nepal 2-0.
And Toby, more boops for the boop gun with the transcending Zen at the end. But the big mistake there was Valiant's positioning again. They were trying to play both doors, one with the Tracer and one with the Genji, but as soon as the Genji Agilities got chunked out, he had to dash back to his team, and they couldn't dive on them, so it was a free entrance into the point. And once you have this range advantage here, there's no getting it back.
Absolutely. Well, Valiant, they need to get it together here if they want to be competitive in this series. Halftime when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
And we are back. It's the half, and Seoul is in charge currently over top of the LA Valiant. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Puckett. You still with us, LA? You guys enjoying the show so far? We got a packed house, and this is Wednesday. This is going to be a fun stage, too. We got Sideshow, we got Crumbs back in action, and we got to talk about the new game. So we knew with the new stage, we were going to see new maps, but the same old teams. This time in the rematch, it's Seoul that has the upper hand, and it all started back on Volskaya.
Yeah, it started in Volskaya, and what's really refreshing about this is that without Mercy being played, we have the new birth of compositions coming around, which included a lot of Sombra for the defensive teams. And you see that Los Angeles Valiant runs Sombra as a secondary support. It's only Lucy with the primary healing, and this is the style that they benefit greatly from, being able to defend very aggressively, whereas Seoul, they ran it on Fleta, so 2 supports and the Sombra being one of the DPS.
Yeah, and when you say new meta as well, I'm getting flashbacks to 2017 because this was how everybody played this map. And so for me, it's a little question mark of, are we returning back to comfort zones? Are we actually seeing the new meta? Jake said in this intro interview, you know, it'll take a while before the teams fully adapt and find the absolute best compositions. So it's a constant learning process even throughout the whole of today. We might see more Sombra, we might see less of it, but it was really interesting to see how the 2 teams use it here.
Now, technically, LA is the home team today. They get the defender's advantage. It's Seoul who has to attack first, and things looked pretty good for LA. The first point, it went quick, but then you held Seoul for 6 minutes and 30 seconds. They capture point B there in overtime. Let's talk about that adaptation that we saw from Seoul, though, because the Sombra was definitely causing them problems.
Yeah, so the Sombra is always just harassing the backline. So the Sombra strengthens what the Valiant like to do, which is dive aggressively on their defense, but they switch over to the Reaper as well. And what they end up doing is that they actually have Bunny look for the Sombra. Now, he's looking to go on Winston, but it's so unfortunate that the Translocator puts Sombra right back in there. And with Winston trying to help, he gets caught off by the Reaper. And immediately, a nano-boosted Reaper is basically the spell's disaster, because this is what snowballs Seoul to get that second point. The fact that they get 2 picks away from the point, and once you set yourself in there with the Lucio, with the Reaper, with Anna in the back, you just can't take it
You
back.
call that pulse bomb unlucky. I call it 9,000 IQ. He just blocked that on the Translocator. Perfect timing. Oh, it was unfortunate. And that EMP is such a crucial role that it ruins their whole defense.
All right, well, we did see the Sombra, not just from LA. Seoul was running it as well. What did you see from Seoul Dynasty on defense, Sideshow?
So Seoul Dynasty are running this composition that I love from them, which basically won them an Apex title back in 2017, where they have 3 huge ultimates. They have their 2 supports, Jaehyung and Toby, and then they have Fleta, they used to have Eska, on the Sombra. So we've got a Telestrator and insights powered by Intel, where I'm going to take you through what's going on here. And the crucial factor is, as Crumbs was saying, LA Valiant were playing very aggressively on their defense, but now they're playing very slowly, and there's a couple of reasons for this. Here's one of them. Fleta, with his Translocator, is able to cause so much chaos, and Bunny at the top of the screen keeps taking wild flanks down here as well to harass them. And so let's take a look at the ultimate situation, because I highlighted this at the beginning and said this is what it really comes down to. So Seoul Dynasty have got the Sombra here, which is a game-winning ultimate, and then they've also got their 2 big support ultimates up, the Transcendence and the Sound Barrier, sorry. So they used Sound Barrier in the fight 2 before this, then they're able to use EMP in the fight before this, and as you see, as we play this one forwards, LA Valiant are so slow to get into positions because they're running the Soldier 76 instead of the Genji, that Seoul Dynasty are able to build up all of these massive ultimates. Here you see they come through the choke, they just apply a little bit of pressure, slow them down a little bit. Envy's forced to use his defense matrix. Now they have to go into the other room, taking this really long rotation, and they're putting agilities up on the high ground. I'm just going to pause it again here, and you can see that Toby has been able to get up to 95% of his Sound Barrier. He used this 2 fights ago when Unko and Verbo used theirs. So the fact that they have 3 support ultimates available there, when LA Valiant only have 2, and it's taking so long. Fleta's even able to get the EMP for the next fight. So the fact that LA Valiant can't go in really hyper-aggressively, very high tempo, means that Seoul Dynasty have all the time they need to get up these 3 big ultimates and then just team wipe with it.
All right, do you think the Valiant needs to be more aggressive in the future? Do you just get off the Soldier altogether? Because that's what we saw when we went to Nepal. If you looked at it, you saw the Soldier being run by agilities on our first map. The second map, it's Fleta running it for Seoul Dynasty.
Yes, and Definitely when you're up against that triple support kind of composition from Seoul, you have to play aggressively into it. But the counter to that is playing the Soldier 76 and the Tracer. And so they're able to eat up these dives, just slowly walk backwards. Flitter does so much damage.
But I think another thing that's benefiting Seoul right now is that before on stage 1, they really struggled dealing with Tracers, right? Soon was causing a lot of pain in the backline and just constantly being a nuisance for their squad. But the fact that now you have Fleta that, one, can run the Sombra, which gives Tracer a run for her money, and also couples well with Bunny. And then two, in this one, you have the Soldier, who can sustain himself and is really not threatened by a Tracer. If she ever comes down, you drop your biotic field, not a big deal. You can even one-shot her basically with your Helix rocket. So I think that now that they're having more heroes in the arsenal of Fleta that can sort of deal with Tracer, they're going to be a lot better as a team, and it showed today.
All right,
in the first half.
Let's talk about the second half. If you're an LA fan, you need your squad to turn up now. You got to turn it around, and you got to take it to a Game 5. Where do we go next? What happens in the second half for LA? What adjustments do you need to see?
Well, we are going to Kings Row and Route 66. That's not debatable. They have to go there. But I think for the LA Valiant, they have to try and push things more towards tanky compositions and Junkrat for me. You need to push Seoul Dynasty out of their comfort zone. Try a couple of tanks in there. You're going to Kings Row. It's the home of Reinhardt. And we've seen that Miro in the past is a little shaky on that. So get Fate out there and use the run.
How can you push Seoul out of their comfort zone if we don't even know what they're running just yet? The meta is completely up for grabs.
But we've definitely seen them win on these dive compositions before, so I feel anything that pushes them away from that towards Mercy, towards tanks, is going to benefit LA.
If you look at this lineup here from Seoul Dynasty, you're 2-0 using these 6 players in back-to-back games. Do you keep them in for all 4 today, Sideshow?
It's so difficult. I think there are going to be changes coming into the second half. The maps are so different.
Crumbs, what do you want to see from LA in the future? Do you keep Agilities in, or do you bring in Silk Thread?
I think you can put Silk Thread a little bit more in. We haven't seen Agilities have the best day so far. I mean, it might improve, but he did get picked off a couple of times. That was unfortunate in that control point. So just some variations. I mean, they flex these 2 players back and forth all the time, so why not give it a shot?
It's a new stage, it's a new meta, and so far, Seoul Dynasty is up 2-0. When we come back, though, I know a lot of Reinhardt fans are going to be happy. Kings Row will be a big game number 3.
By Toyota. Let's go places.
say, it feels really good to see Nepal and Volskaya Industries back in the map pool. You guys happy about that? Happy about that, Matt? Stage 2 love is real. It's real. All right, so it looks like the Seoul Dynasty have found their footing with this new meta because they're currently up on the LA Valiant 2-0, a far cry from what we saw a couple of weeks ago when these two teams played. Now, to get us back into the action, let's go ahead and send it on over to Monty and Doa.
Thank you, Malik. That's right. We are back, and it is currently Seoul up 2-0 over LA Valiant here in our first match of Overwatch League Stage 2. We've seen a lot of Lucio, a lot of positioning stuff, and as we look forward towards King's Row, Monty, what are we going to see? Do you think Valiant can bring it back?
I think their supports really have to step it up. On that last map on Nepal, combined, the Seoul supports did about 3,500 more healing in total compared to the Valiant supports, and over 2,000 of that was the difference between Verbo and Toby on those Lucios. And part of that is, of course, that with the higher mobility and the way the Genji Tracer plays as a dive composition, you're not all together as a unit, and that, of course, does affect the AoE healing. But part of that also was that Toby and Jaehong were simply playing better.
I mean, something that some people may not know out there is that Toby, back in the day, and recently as well, is literally one of the best Lucios in the world. He's proven it time and time again during his games, during his matches on Lunatic High over the last couple of years, at the World Cups we've had. So for him to be able to be back focusing on that hero is a huge thing for Seoul Dynasty, and I think we saw a lot of that.
Yeah, I think we did, and that's the reason why Verbo's back in, because Verbo was the Lucio player in previous metas for the Immortal squad that became the LA Valiant, and he's just not performing at the same level. His sound barriers, and it isn't all, of course, it's a communication issue depending on the positioning for his sound barriers as well, but it was 6 sound barriers for him provided in that last fight compared to 10 for Toby, so you're getting a lot more value from Toby right now on this Lucio, and it's really showing. And King's Row, map we haven't seen in a while, a map that we frequently see Reinhardt and Zarya defenses on, actually.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the maps where I think we're going to see a lot of changes with this quote-unquote new meta, where we see a little bit less Mercy. Might see that triple tank, like you're saying. Might see a little bit more 2-2-2, but in less of a dive, more of a sort of poking style. But I don't know, we'll have to find out. I mean, this is a map where you do see once in a while some Widowmaker on. Ooh, and are we actually going to see some Moira from Unko? That would be pretty sick.
King's Row is definitely one of the most diverse maps that we have in Overwatch when it comes to team compositions.
Yeah.
This is going to be an anti-dive comp. So the way this is going to play out with the McCree and the Zarya, the Reinhardt, and the Moira is they're going to play in the corner there by the point and slowly push forward using the Moira AoE heal. So they're going to defend pretty far back and force the members of Seoul Dynasty to come to them. So they'll be grouped up as a unit. We'll have the McCree there to stop any kind of dives. Fleta's going to peek out. I don't know if he's going to stay on this. Looks like he will stay on the Widowmaker. We sometimes see double sniper compositions historically with both the Widowmaker and...
Oh, here we go. Getting a bit aggressive.
The Hanzo here.
Yep.
So, oh, that's terrible. He jumped over the shield.
That's rough, man. Soon down 2. They lost their McCree as well, and Seoul Dynasty steamrolling their way onto this point. And yeah, you want to see Mercy? There's some Mercy. Still powering up that Widowmaker, and Fleta finding the shots.
Yeah, he jumped into range because he jumped over the top of the Reinhardt shield. They are going to try and re-engage and stall this out, but it's not going to work.
Well, we will see. Verbo down early. Not a great start for Valiant. Seoul backing away. They can play it patiently. They've just got to keep people on the point to maintain that progress. Agility's down. There goes Fate. And yeah, Seoul going to grind out this one again. And already, people going way far forward here. They've got some time to keep Valiant pinned back as they get set up for their point B push.
So there were a couple problems with Valiant right there. First off, you don't generally want to push that far forward against a Widowmaker because she can get angles over the top of the shield as she grapples around the side of the point. And also, Bunny was able to get very far in the back and open up an opportunity to take down the McCree. So a couple of troubles right there. You do want to play that very passively.
See, I was confused by that, because, yeah, when you play that anti-dive comp, you
Yeah,
don't
you-
show yourself to the Widow, but...
Yeah, you definitely don't play in sidelines like that. That's a another positional mistake from the Valiant.
Boy.
We've seen a lot of those so far tonight.
Well, if you're wondering, when are more kills going to appear on the kill feed, the answer is soon, apparently. Let him find
Boo.
I know.
That's
I'm
just
so,
a boo.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
that's not a soon.
I'm so sorry. I'll be here all week and all season. Let it back away. That payload is nearly already there. Valiant needs to defend this one, but Unko down! Bunny with another pick here as Valiant comes in shorthanded. NB D-Max, NB taken out almost instantly, and now the dive comes in on the Fleta, but the damage has been done. Fleta getting the heals anyway, and Fate can't survive. That is going to be a quick point B for Seoul.
The Valkyrie used right there. Are seeing some more Mercy play on this map. Does provide the necessary healing against the dive to make sure all the members of the Seoul Dynasty will be surviving. They haven't put any pressure so far on the Fleta's Widowmaker.
Oh, here we go. Widow versus Widow soon taking up the challenge. Nope, never mind. He's back on the Tracer. Decided. Thought better of it. Didn't want to take that 1v1 against Fleta. I can't blame him. I wouldn't want to either.
Got the other side now. Trying to finish off some of these
angle.
supports.
That's a good angle. It catches Fate. Fleta gets Burbo as well. Fleta's killed both supports now, by the way.
And that self-destruct, too, forced the supports into the open during the infra site. So Fleta knew which side of the boxes they'd be coming around, and they had to move somewhere, and it was right into the crosshairs of Fleta.
Man, that payload is nearly there. Valiant needs to defend it. They've got some ultimates to do it. And they're gonna try. Jaehong zoned out a little bit, needs to use that Transcendence to stay alive, trying to get to Zunba. He gets there, he gets the heals just in time. Fate diving deep with that Primal Rage, and here comes Agilities. He's got the Dragon Blade out, he's turning it around. Toby down, there goes Fleta, and finally, it looks like Valiant will get a bit of stability here on this point.
Valiant found a good timing. Finally, we see a good sound barrier from Verbo. This time, it's coupled with the Dragon Blade at the end of the Transcendence. So, good sequencing of ults there as Fate forces the Trance out, and then his teammates are able to clean it up. So Valiant looking like they're going to be able to stabilize right now. Fleta has been forced over to his own Genji. They know they need the big team wipe in order to end this map. Toby on the Lucio. So it's going to take some time. Valiant will have a good couple minutes, most likely, to keep holding this.
Yeah, pushing Seoul back again. And even though the payload moved so far, this is actually fine for Valiant, because this is a place where you can hold the payload for a long time if you're efficient about it. Wow, Soon going way behind Seoul Dynasty. Deep into enemy lines, Seoul's way pushed up. It's more like a 6v5 right now. Soon's got to get there. He is there now. Can he get the pulse bomb? There's the stick. Ooh, no kills from that one, though. Trying to find a bit more. They push Seoul back off the point, at least for the moment. Seoul biding their time. Fleta goes down. Nice dive from Fate to finish off that Genji.
Now the rest of Seoul, they just need to disengage. They are going to die. A couple more of them, but the rest of them heading back towards the spawn. So as soon as Fleta goes down, but that was a good win for the Valiant. They got the pulse bomb out. They managed to push the Transcendence out of Unko as well. So Seoul doing a couple of economy pushes here, and this is what you want to see. How many ults can you force the other team to lose? Because to finish this map, you need a very decisive team fight victory.
Oh boy,
and it may start there.
Again soon, and now the dive comes in. Agilities with the Dragon Blade. Oh, they force out the Transcendence from Jaehong. Bit of a win for Valiant right there, but now Seoul coming in with more kills of their own. Fate down, Agilities fighting for his life. He is one man against the entire Seoul Dynasty, and there's only so much a Genji can do. Now the self-destruct pushing back the respawns. Unko there, that payload nearly on it though, contested by Soon for the moment. Can they handle the respawns here?
Fleta has to back off, even though he has this Dragon Blade, not finding an opportunity to use it just yet. There will be a Primal Rage from Fate.
Oh, there's Agilities. He's got the blade on. There's the Transcendence to support him. Zunba D-Max, but Fleta comes from behind, and now his own Dragon Blade is drawn. Looking for more kills here. Unko, though, the one to take him down, but it doesn't matter. Seoul gets the payload there anyway. And that is a lot of time on the clock for Seoul.
It looked like there were 3 to 4 members alive of the Valiant.
Yeah, I don't know what
seemed like they were
there.
tangling with the Dragon Blade rather than focusing on the cart, because Seoul got a bit of a freebie there, shoving that cart all the way back in, particularly with both tanks on the Valiant still alive.
That was a bit too much tunnel vision on trying to win the fight and not enough mindfulness about where the objective is. And you got to keep that in mind, otherwise you end up with this situation. Seoul, 3 points, 2 minutes, 11 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, that's quite a long time. It was a stall out of about 2 minutes for the Valiant on point C. So there was a stabilization that occurred briefly, but still, in the end, I think that was an opportunity for them to hold that they just missed out on.
I agree. That one stings a little bit if you're LA Valiant, but you know, you did manage to eat some time off the time bank, and now you've got your own attack round coming into it. So an opportunity to equalize, maybe with a bit more time left in the time bank.
Seoul just going classic dive here, even though we know Zunba for his ace Zarya play. We haven't seen it appear yet here in Overwatch League Stage 2.
I think a little bit of that is a respect to the dive that they know Valiant can bring out of them. You know, I mean, we know Zunba's a great Zarya, and Seoul saying, you know what, we'd rather just fight dive with a bit of dive ourselves. We don't want to try the triple tank, which on attack at least, I was a little bit surprised that Seoul didn't decide to do that.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised, I guess, but at the same time, going back to a bread and butter dive composition here for Seoul does seem to make a lot of sense. They're playing standard, go Tracer Soldier, go Genji Soldier, or go Genji Tracer rather. Go back to what you know from previous metas where you were successful and just use the execution that you've been honing for years already.
True enough.
To win some of these matches.
Soon on the Widowmaker. Oh, nice shot. Jaehong, that was perfect from Valiant. Now they need to get in there. Now they need to capitalize on that missing support.
He's gonna force the rewind too. Got a Bunny to start things off. Fleta has to dash back out of the line of sight, and that's gonna be the end of him. Envy will chase him down with the boosters.
Yeah, man, as fast as Seoul's push was, Valiant going just as quick here as they try to take point A. We'll see if Seoul wants to contest this.
You have to learn how to stay out of line of sight on King's Row. Both of these teams a little shoddy at their defense. This is not what we're used to seeing on this map. You have to assume that there's going to be a Widow, or even a Widow and a Hanzo, potentially.
Yeah. I think people are just used to having Mercy there to res him if they make a mistake, and he's not around anymore, so those mistakes are costly. Now, Seoul gave up point A a bit quicker than Valiant did in exchange for a bit more of an aggressive defense for point B. They've taken the high ground.
Wow, they're playing this really hard.
Yeah, Unko falls. Trying to do a bit of spawn camping here, even.
They are giving up a bit of ult charge, though, to their enemies. That will be Agility's reaching his Dragon Blade, and everybody's still on the retreat.
Yeah, with Jaehong down, you gotta back off if you're Seoul. I think Toby's in a little bit of trouble around the outside here. Agility's cutting him off with the pass.
That's a big
literally
kill. They staggered him while he nearly had his sound barrier, so Seoul wanted to make an aggressive defense, but ultimately, even though they killed Unko, they ended up failing by trading Jaehong and getting staggered on the backside of that fight. So now the street phase is a bit free here for the Valiant.
Yeah, Seoul's going to have an opportunity to set up here for a defense at the end of point B here.
Fleta's coming around the very backside of this fight currently, and he's going to catch Unko. So they're actually staggered very badly right now. Where the Valiant's going to go in.
Now sound barrier has to be used to keep Jaehong alive. Agility's still in the back lines. And he does get D-Mech taken out, but soon finds the kill on the Zenyatta. Zunba getting close to being D-Mech'd. Agility's has to take a bit of a break. He's down to about half health now. A little less. Soon down. Seoul maybe grinding this one out to a fight win. And yeah, with Muro right there, maybe that's it. Fleta comes in for a kill. Bunny helps out, and yeah, Valiant will have to back away. A lot of ultimates on both sides right now, too.
And Fleta and Bunny wrapped all the way back to the choke point right outside of point A to catch Unko at the rear of the Valiant train. And this is another one of those instances where the Valiant have not been as coordinated as we would like to see in approaching objectives. We saw that on Volskaya, and here again, they are getting punished for it. Bunny looking for that opportunity to use the Pulse Bomb. He is going to rejoin his team. So everybody now, they're on the defense for the Dynasty.
So getting aggressive. Here comes the Dragon Blade. Agilities. Can he get some kills? Burbo taken out by the Pulse Bomb of Bunny initially in this fight. And Agility's not finding what he was looking for there. And even though Jaehong falls, well, actually both supports down.
They're still moving the payload, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, opportunity for Valiant to come back in again. Muro taken out by Agilities, and they turn that one around.
And it's all about cleanup on the payload right now.
Yeah.
Seoul went too deep, got away from the payload, and meanwhile, Valiant are sitting on top of it, getting that limited amount of healing and forcing the Dynasty to re-engage on them. So turns into a nice little team fight win there for the Valiant. And They still have an opportunity here to make it through Point C and send us into that time bank. They have about the same amount of time remaining for Point C that we saw Seoul have.
That's right.
On their push.
So Seoul, we'll see if they can hold this one, as well as the Valiant were before that unfortunate mistake in their defensive round. Dragon Blade again coming out, this time for Fleta. Here it's going to cause the sound barrier to get dropped by Valiant. Finds Verbo anyway. Fleta looking for more, gets Unko, and that's going to be a bit of a hold.
You'll take that trade every time for
yeah.
Seoul. You not only get the sound barrier out, but you kill the Lucio with the Dragon Blade at the same time. That's about as good as it gets, and you're able to stagger soon in the spawn, or the previous spawn, I should say, or the defender in the subway.
They say don't play on the subway tracks, but usually it's not because Tracer is trying to shoot you too. Usually it's more of a train-related thing. But
I don't hear that actually happens in the tube in London that often.
Tracer versus Tracer. I mean, if it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to be in London, I suppose. That's where Tracer's from, you know.
Is she?
Oh, well, she's from England. I don't know.
Is she from London, though?
How big is that country? Geography with Doha is not a class you want to take. I'm telling you that right now. Now Seoul holding again for a little bit longer here. Yeah, good round for Bunny on that Tracer, no doubt.
Yeah, Seoul, though, approaching just a critical mass of ultimates. 65% for Fleta. Valiant has to work their way back towards their support ults. So this is looking like it's going to be an extended hold, but maybe not if Miro's going to fall.
Yeah, big pick for Valiant. They got Miro as they come in with a lot of ultimates. Agility's D-Max Zunba too. Big opportunity for LA Valiant here. Bunny having to back way up. And yeah, Seoul need to give up a lot of ground here. That was exactly what Valiant needed.
And look at the discipline from Seoul. They didn't use any ults after Miro died. They knew the fight was effectively over, so don't go ahead and commit anything at all. Valiant also showing that discipline. It's only Verbo waiting on the sound barrier. We are going to get into some apocalyptic fights here to end King's Row.
No kidding, man. A lot of ults on both sides. Sound barrier comes in for the LA Valiant side. Toby dropping his as well. Or Toby only dropping his, rather. Support ultimates used as Valiant pushed back a little bit here. Maybe Seoul's really putting everything into just pushing Valiant back right now.
And both Dragon Blades are still up, Doa. That's what Flood and Agility's been waiting for, the opportunity, but Jae-Hong still has his trance.
They do, so one support ultimate for Seoul. They're gonna need to use it. Fleta finds a kill onto Unko here. Oh, he gets Verbo too. Both supports taken out by Seoul. Agilities has to save that Dragon Blade for their next push, because this one is over.
Yeah, they knew that the support ults were gone. Verbo hadn't charged his up again, so an easy use of the Dragon Blade from Fleta. Agility smart though. Knows the Transcendence is still waiting, is still in the pocket of the Dynasty.
Yeah.
They're not going to throw that one away. However, that is virtually everything out on both sides. Sound barrier from Verbo could be a huge difference maker in this final push for the Valiant. We'll see if he can get a good one and help prop up this engage.
A little over a minute left. They're going to get the Transcendence out of Jae-Hong, but Fate does fall. One tank down for Valiant. Agilities as well. Looks like Seoul's going to win this one. Or win this fight anyway. Valiant backing away. Have to reset quickly. They are down to just 50 seconds left now.
But that last push gave Verbo the sound barrier. So Valiant's going to be okay with everything. Now the Transcendence is gone. This is their chance to make a mark here on King's Row and finish things up. But that is not how you do it.
You can't lose soon in this situation. Valiant only have about 30 seconds remaining. They got to make something happen fast. And Toby is going to have the sound barrier for the next fight now.
And even those little instances, if you can force them out, get a little bit more ult charge on your Lucio. Now you have a tool to deal with the engage and the Dragon Blade that you didn't have before.
Oh, Jae-Hong down. They caught him. Valiant with a chance here. Oh, but Transcendence has to be used very early. Bunny tosses in the pulse bomb, but no kills out of that one. Gotta be careful, trying to exit the fight in a hurry. Valiant coming in, a lot of ultimates used. They get Bunny. That's gonna be a man advantage for the Valiant. They could get a good push here, but it's going to be in overtime. They cannot leave the payload now. They gotta get it there.
But they held on to the rest of their ults, Noah. Still the Dragon Blade on Agility. So Valiant coming in strong. Dynasty will have a host of ultimates of their own to use, though. They've got to survive for a little bit longer for that trance, though.
It's gonna get big. Here we go. Sound barrier comes in for Valiant. There's a delay, though. Zunba getting in. He's gonna get defector right away, but uses that self-destruct.
Both supports are dead.
Fleta with two. He got a couple, and there goes Agilities. Somehow Fleta got into the back line. That payload, though, not quite moving. Valiant can't get to it, and Seoul Dynasty will win Kings Row, and they have enough map wins now to call this series theirs. That's 3-0, despite one map left to go.
That was such a clutch play by Fleta. You have to get into the back line in that situation and cut off their healing. You had a big advantage coming in. If you were the Valiant with a large ultimate bank already built up.
I mean, this map was all about Fleta. The Widowmaker to the Genji. He delivered Seoul that win. We're going to take a break. One more map. When we come back, don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to the Blizzard Esports Arena here in beautiful Burbank, California. Don Montecristo here for our final map between LA Valiant and Seoul Dynasty. Right now, Seoul Dynasty, 3 map wins above Valiant. The match is theirs, but as we saw from the end of stage 1, the individual map scores really do end up mattering a lot. So Valiant still with a ton to play for in this final map.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming into it, we said, okay, well, we have to see a difference in the support play in particular coming out of the Valiant. And to Unko's credit, he did get more healing done than Jae Hong by about 700 in total over the course of King's Row. The problem is that Verbo had 7,800 healing points, and we saw Toby with 12,500, which is nearly a 5,000 difference in healing, which is extraordinary for 2 Lucio players.
It is insane, man. I mean, but that's just Toby on Lucio. This guy is so good. And now we move on to Route 66. And Monty and I can finally use our Rawhide button, right? Rawhide!
There we go.
one more time. Rawhide! Yeah, there. We can summon it on command.
That certainly will not be abused by us.
No, not at all. We will never use that more than necessary. Ride. Ride. Yes.
It's my favorite thing ever now. We've been waiting for this moment.
We have a great crew here, though. We're not actually pressing the button. That is just synergy.
Yeah, that's great
between
synergy.
us and the sound crew, Rawhide. There we go. I didn't even have to ask for that one. It was there. Yeah. I think that one was part of the music, actually. I don't know.
Well, this is another map where we do tend to see a lot of Sombra, as we touched on earlier, especially and almost exclusively on point A.
Yeah.
Because of the 2 mega health packs, one inside of Big Earl's, the gas station, and one inside of the tunnel just opposite. So there's a lot of opportunities for ample healing provided by a Sombra.
Huh. World famous Monte Cristo. I don't know.
Yeah, who's that?
Doesn't look like anything to me. I know.
Blizzard knows what's up.
I've had enough. Thank you. Well, here we are. Like you said, world famous Monte Cristo. Point A is pretty much Sombra central, right? I mean, we've seen so many holds here. And Verbo's like, I'm not even coming down there. I'm just gonna do some rock climbing.
I wish I could skate like that on beautiful canyon studs.
That
Looks like a lot of fun.
There's a lot of beautiful canyons around here we could do that on. I just don't know if we live.
I think my attempt would be quite short-lived indeed.
Here we go. So Toby uses a Sonic Arrow to check that train car to make sure there's no cheesy upfront defense from the Valiant. And so we'll keep pushing here for a little bit of shots, and it's more okay to shoot the tanks now because you don't have a Mercy building up that ult. You do have tanks, though, using that health pack and helping Sombra build the EMP. So is still something to think about for Fleta.
Absolutely. You see Unko already at 60% here, poking in, but everybody hiding right now out of line of sight. We need to see an engagement. Envy Peyton soon playing together in the front line, but he is going to get destroyed with the help of the Discord Orb in midair.
Envy trying to stay alive via that health pack, finally exits. He might get D-backed. Oh, it's so close. J-Home down. Soon in Agility striking back on the Valiant side. Bunny drops out the pulse bomb, gets Envy with that one.
And the hack on the other side from Unko.
Yeah,
they have saved that one, pushing. But it's still moving, and there's only 2 members left alive from the Valiant.
I mean, if your Sombra defense doesn't stop them right here, it's just not going to stop them on point A.
You don't have an EMP anymore. You can't really stay on this. The only reason you stay is to run back a little bit faster, try something, and see if you can get into that back line.
They're going to go for a last-ditch effort defense here coming in. They do get Bunny. Good start for Valiant. Envy a little bit low health, though, has to be careful here. Zunba, meanwhile, trying to support his Genji. Peyton agilities do go down. Defense Matrix working okay. And now they're going to try to push Valiant the rest of the way off the payload. Oh, but Unko and Envy come back with a couple kills on the Soul side. And drop Unko. Maybe this self-destruct is going to be enough. Verbo gets caught. Couldn't get away from that self-destruct. And now with only Envy there, getting D-Mexed, getting D-Lifed. And that's going to be point A for Seoul.
Unko over to the Zenyatta now, so not staying on the Sombra longer. Sometimes, occasionally, you might see it with the Mega Health Pack right by the big doors coming between point A and point B, but not going to be the case because they simply don't have the time to get into that position.
Agilities with that Dragon Blade again. He and Envy have the ultimates on the Valiant side, and if Agilities can get into the back line, they can set up a really nice stall here. As soon as he gets some healing, he requires it apparently.
Buddy and Fleta on the supports again. They are just double teaming Verbo and Unko. They've been pushed out of line of sight. They can't heal right now.
Oh, Fleta down though. Envy finds that kill, but now the chase onto Envy. Agilities. Our equalizer who was chasing Zunba. Never mind. Who was not D-Mexed, got away just in time, but Valiant, a lot of ultimates to hold this one. They've done what they needed to do. They managed to push Soul back enough to build up a chance to efficiently defend this one. Primal Rage used by Fate now. Sound Barrier coming in for Soul. This is their time. They're going to charge here.
But it was after Fleta was dead again.
Yeah.
So a misplay there. The Sound Barrier slightly too late. What the intent was to punish Valiant, who was extended deep towards the Seoul Dynasty spawn. They wanted to use the Sound Barrier to cover the Dragon Blade of Fleta. Guess what? Didn't happen. Fleta dies anyway, so that Sound Barrier is useless.
Pretty much.
Miscommunication, mistime there from the side of the Dynasty. Good target selection from the Valiant.
Yeah, got a good hold going so far here on point B. Agilities looking in the direction from above. Takes a chunk out of Miro here, getting pushed back. Miro in a little bit of trouble. Transcendence has to be used by Jaehong to keep his tank alive. And now the Dragon Blade coming in from Fleta. Agilities drops in behind with his. Ooh, going after Zunba though, but now he finds Jaehong. Oh, but Jaehong, boot to the head, and Agilities taken out. The master denies the pupil one more time.
It didn't really matter though. Fleta didn't get many kills on the other side of that engagement, and now with Unko cleaning up Zunba, Valiant are going to win anyway.
Yep.
So both teams trading blades, both teams trading transcendences. Difference was that Verbo also used the sound barrier.
Well, the payload got pushed a little bit, but not as far as I think Seoul would have liked.
Interesting. So Fleta now has moved to the Sombra, and he is going to hack the big health pack on the side here as we take a look at him right now. So they're going to play around towards the payload.
All right.
And try and punish the Valiant with the Sombra again. Translocator not going back to that initial health pack. Will be his allies. And oh, that's a big hack right there. Hacking Diva, always great.
Yeah, can they get the DMAC though? Yeah, they do. There's a follow-up. Really nicely done by Seoul. Great time after that, but they lose Jaehong. And now Valiant going in with their Transcendence. They're like, this is our moment. We got a couple kills, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and win this fight. They're pushing Seoul back for the moment.
They use the Transcendence, but Fleta dangerously close to the EMP right now. Sound barrier also.
It's a big gamble though. I mean, you're putting a lot into this EMP if you're Seoul. It kind of needs to pay off. Otherwise, that's a lot of time used off the clock for not a lot of benefit.
Well, it's Bunny's job to herd them into the proper location to use this EMP. Not going to happen right away. Translocator down right now. Fleta will have to get healed up by the Zenyatta.
Yep. All right, sound barrier used by Seoul. They're going in now. Fleta on the payload, waiting for things. There's the self-destruct. Got to dodge that. Around the point here, Miro does take down Verbo. There's the EMP. They were all grouped on top of Fleta, and there goes Fate. So Seoul, they managed to find Valiant right where they wanted them. It's a pretty resounding teamfight win.
It is a lot used, but still worthwhile. And the first thing that happened there, the most pivotal thing, was that the peek around the corner with Fleta on the hack was able to hit Envy.
Yeah.
He didn't interrupt it, which means I would rather play Mini Diva than play Hacked Diva in a suit, honestly, because without any of her abilities, she is a sitting duck. She gets farmed for ultimate. And Jaehong is now back with the Mei. We've seen this on Junkertown. We'll see it again in this long corridor where the wall can be effective to get picks and to isolate people from the team.
Yeah, this is really like a Route 66 classic, man. To pull out the Mei in the end, they've got Fate trapped. He has to pop his Primal Rage. Agility's coming in with the Dragon Blade, though. Gotta watch out, he's got two. And I think this push is getting stuffed.
I mean, you're fine with this though. You still have some time to work with, and you got two ultimates out while you had to change over some heroes and rebuild up the EMP as well as build up the Blizzard. This is setting up for an interesting end to this one. So the thing is, we rarely see Sombra and Mei in combination, but in this instance, what you can do is if you get the hack down and then throw the Blizzard, they can't escape the Blizzard effectively without their movement abilities, and everybody gets frozen.
Yeah, or if you wall someone off and then hack them as well, they're kind of trapped here.
Absolutely.
So it's all about the picks for Seoul right now. See what they can find out. Zimba going in deep. Jaehong finding targets on that Mei. Needs to watch out. Nope, not close enough to really have to worry about that pulse bomb here. So he does get the kill on Soon. So the payload is moving, but man, this point can be really hard to complete sometimes.
Yeah, we don't see this map finished very often, even in the professional level.
Money down. Unko with a big pick there. EMP comes in. Jaehong trying to get to that ultimate. Oh, he's so low health. Oh, gets the ice block off just in time. He's got the Blizzard now as Envy gets DMAC. Is this the time he gets Fate as well? That Blizzard might be crucial here. Oh, sound barrier though.
He is going to die, but I think they'll have another chance for an attack. The tanks are going to leave right now with Bunny. So can they come in?
Oh, Miro
needs to respawn. That's a huge kill at the end of this. Man, but they have the Blizzard.
Seoul's going to have to really dash to try to get any sort of attack going here. I'm not sure if they can get back in time. We're down to just 5 seconds, man. I don't think they can actually get there.
I mean, Bunny's still there. He's still around the side, and Fled is still there, too.
He was close to the payload. We're in overtime now. Agility's lurking with that Dragon Blade, waiting for people to pass by. Oh, they can't get to it.
Just barely not able to touch that point.
I mean, that was one of those things where, yeah, I mean, you had the Sombra there and you had Bunny there, but they were being zoned so well by Valiant that Seoul can't even really get OT going.
Yeah, they mistimed their juggle too with Miro coming onto the point. It's a small mistake, but when the overtime goes down so quickly, that does get quite complicated.
Well, it's a small mistake that could come back to haunt them here as we see Agilities with a bit of a Dragon Blade replay. Stuffing this first push here, but you know, now if you are, you know, if you're Valiant, you're saying, hey, this is a map we can win, and even if we're not taking this series, every map counts in Overwatch League.
It certainly does, and that was highly apparent in our Stage 1 playoffs, where it made a massive difference in the teams that were
Rawhide. Thank you.
So let's take a look at what we're going to see from Seoul. Almost certainly will be the Sombra again for point A. Might just be the dive.
Yeah.
On the side of the Valiant. One of the issues that we might see crop up with playing Verbo instead of Kariv is, even though Kariv is not a Lucio specialist, you do wonder if he's going to start seeing some playtime on that hero regardless moving forward, because at the end of their run in Stage 1, Kariv and Unko were working quite well together.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he does offer some interesting upsides, notably that he can play Widowmaker very well, which makes it so a lot of the time coming out of the gates on some of these maps, you at least can get a couple shots with a Widow and take you know, roll the dice on that. Maybe you get Kariv to get a pick while you still have two DPS players to dive in. So they're not going to have that versatility anymore.
Doesn't look like it. Seoul will be going for the summer defense, as we would see most teams do on this map. Makes a lot of sense. So Valiant coming in with the dive. Soon on that Widowmaker. See if you can find any shots here.
Yeah, it's still a similar style of composition to the one that they ran on Volskaya, which is low damage. So what this means is it's all about getting hacks off, like we saw, or intercepting them, and it requires ace target selection around the Orb of Discord, because that's the only way you will get enough damage with the Tracer and Sombra to efficiently pick off a tank.
All right, trying to keep Valiant pushed back just a bit. You want to stop the payload here if you're Seoul. You want to be able to stop it near those health packs that you can use with your team. They got to be careful soon. Coming really close to hitting some big targets here, but now under a little bit of pressure, has to back away. Dive coming in from both sides. And he has to just take a little bit of a break. There goes Fate. Bunny finds one. That payload stalled out for the moment.
It's very difficult because you can't use that forward health pack if you're the attacking side.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do see teams switch to Reaper here just to control the tunnel better and try and push forward and deny the health pack usage. That's not going to be the strategy the Valiant are choosing. They will go back over to the Tracer.
Yep. Soon leaves that Widowmaker for now.
Well, it has the MP.
Yep.
He's gonna hack 3.
Okay, Fate down immediately after that. So Seoul taking out a crucial tank. And Valiant gonna reset again, but they're getting close to some ultimates here. They're gonna have the Dragon Blade, they're gonna have the Transcendence, they're gonna have the Primal Rage pretty soon. But Seoul already building up a nice sort of stockpile of ults to use on the defense as well.
And that's where if you get stalled out on attack on this map, in Overwatch League, when you're playing against that Sombra, it can really hurt you. You have to just blitz through the second 2 points because you lose so much time on point A.
That's right. Ooh, Orb of Discord on the Fate. Has to back away here. Jones found a couple great shots already this round. Did take out Fate in their last fight.
Go's getting hacked in that back line. Actually, right now, Fleta has hacked both Agilities and Unko at different times, so he's delaying this push by being annoying and finding angles. He actually forced a trance right there.
Whoa, getting the trance out of Unko, that is crazy, man. Sometimes this is end. Oh, nice kill on Fleta. Soon comes back with some revenge now. Goes soon to fall, and Dragon Blade coming in from Agilities. He needs to come up with a big one here. Toby does fall. Okay, that's a good start for Valiant, but they haven't quite started pushing the payload yet. Soul's still delaying, but with Miro going down, I think maybe Valiant is going to get some progress. Yeah, they definitely should now.
Yeah, that was almost a huge play from Seoul. Jaehong used his trance and got lost towards the end of that point. So there's not going to be a chance here. Valiant take advantage of the kill onto Toby and the early trance from Jaehong to pull out the Dragon Blade. So Agilities really saves it for the side of the Valiant, but they do lose 3 minutes on point A.
Seoul thinking about coming in with a last-ditch defense. They're going to do it. Delaying, just eating more time. Off the time bank, Zumba demech right away. Going to go ahead and use that self-destruct here. As he does get taken out, no remeching for him. Bunny and Toby just being really annoying on that point right now. And they're gonna, wow, they're gonna commit the sound barrier to this. They draw one out from Verbo as well. Jaehong, Ungo, Bolsonato's falling at this point. Nobody on the point, and we're down to less than 30 seconds here for Valiant. Bunny gets Envy before he can get back in the mech. Fleta gets Fate. Seoul, that would be crazy if they can actually hold this here.
They had all the Soul ultimates. Zunba makes it back from spawn before getting demeched.
Gets demeched. Toby coming in. It's his turn to try to hold, and that's going to give Miro a chance to heal up and get back onto the payload. Really masterful stall from Seoul right now, staggering the people that are on the payload. And Valiant really struggling here. They got to get back. This is it. We're into overtime already.
And this is only possible with supreme confidence in your own sequencing, Noah. Jaehong's back, and he has the trance, gets bumped up onto the high ground.
Yeah, NB demech, Fate taken down, and that's the rest of Valiant falling around him. Agilities needs the most epic Dragon Blade ever, and he's not going to get it. OT ticking, and that is going to be another point A hold for Seoul, and they will clean sweep this series 4-0.
Oh, they certainly did some work during the break. They didn't take a win. In our last week of Stage 1 against the Valiant, they come in 4-0 for the Seoul Dynasty today, looking revitalized.
No kidding. I mean, this is a Seoul Dynasty that is looking so comfortable, so polished, that they, I think, are going to be pretty scary here in Stage 2.
I mean, and what they've always been good at is those stalls, Noah. When we look at what they did on that last point, you have to know whose ults are up on your team. But if you have the Primal Rage, and you have the Sound Barrier, and you can work with that self-destruct, you can push them off the payload time and time again, draw out that overtime, and if you're good at juggling which players are on the point or on the cart, and how many times have we seen Seoul drag out assault maps forever? They are the best team in this league at drawing time off the clock, and yet we see it yet again.
Absolutely, man. It's fun to see them come back and do this. I feel like I've traveled back in time a little bit to March of last year, and I'm watching the old lunatic high at their feet. Cool to see from Seoul Dynasty. Quick break, guys, and when we come back, the desk breaks down that match. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Overwatch coming up after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Hey everyone and welcome back. My name is Zoe and I'm now joined by Ryu Jae-hong from the Seoul Dynasty. Yeah, that's right. What a dominant performance. Now, last time you went up against the Valiant, you guys lost. Was that in the back of your minds at all? Did you see today as an opportunity for a revenge match?
개인적으로 저는 복수전이라고 생각을 했고 이제 근데 감독님, 코치님들께서는 이제 리그가 기니까 한 게임 한 게임 어차피 힘든 걸 아니까 이제 열심히 하자 이런 식이었고요. 근데 속마음은 모르겠어요. 근데 저는 개인적으로 복수전이었다고 생각합니다.
I personally thought of it as a revenge, but our team, our coaches and everyone, because the league, we have really long way to go. It's every single game is important and we have to do our best. That's what our coaches were saying, but I don't know what they were thinking. But for me, it was a revenge.
All right, and the revenge you got with a convincing victory, 4-0. Now, of course, you had a short break in between stage 1 and stage 2. What did you guys do? What did you focus on? Did you have some days off?
스테이지 1 끝나고 쉴 때 이제 저희가 중점적으로 좀 뭐라 그래 팀원끼리 다들 이제 멘탈을 치유하러 좀 멘탈 힐링 팀원들 간의 단합을 좀 많이 다졌고요. 게임을 좀 더 하는 것보다는 팀원들끼리의 단합 뭐 다 같이 놀러 간다든지 이런 거를 좀 많이 했습니다.
So for the break, instead of focusing too much on playing games together, we just spent time together and working on the teamwork, and we went out to enjoy. So that was what we did during the break.
All right, well, it definitely paid off. There was a lot of cohesion in team. Ryu Jae-hong, thank you so much for joining me. We're now heading over to the desk with the guys to break down the action.
Thank you so much, Zoe, and a big shout out to Jae-hong. He and the Seoul Dynasty walk away with the 4-0 that beats the 3-0 the Valiant handed them in stage 1. Let's talk about the action here. This is the first time we've seen the new meta, the first time that we've seen Mercy removed from our 4 games. So let's talk about Seoul Dynasty up first. We didn't see a whole lot of changes from what they've shown us in the past here, kind of going back to their roots. What did you see in the Seoul Dynasty? Do you expect this squad to evolve after this 4-0?
I saw a lot of improvement from this team. The cohesion was definitely there, especially diving the supports. Right now, when you have Mercy removed from the meta, each pick actually matters a lot, and it's way easier to kill supports. And that doesn't mean that supports are worse now. Like, you're gonna die. That's just the way it plays out, and Seoul looked significantly more coordinated in going for these plays, which is a huge it's a great play now that the value of killing supports goes up exponentially.
Yeah, and I think that Seoul Dynasty, as we move away from the Mercy meta, they're allowed to play. So, like you said, it's very much more difficult to stay alive, but they're one of the best at being able to do that. So they have limited resources with the Lucio and the Zen, but they make the best of it compared to other teams. So the difference between them on Lucio Zen is much higher than when Mercy was in the meta. So as we were kind of speculating a little bit at the beginning, I think this patch could be a good one for them if it stays like this, but I expect a lot of adaptation as we go through stage 2.
Yeah, Seoul, they mentioned they didn't practice a whole lot. Imagine what's going to happen after they spend tons of time grinding in this new meta. Go ahead, Crump.
Some teams in esports end up performing the best when they don't scrim at all, because sometimes the nerves get in there, they get in their own head. So the fact that they took the time off, I think is really beneficial, because this is a team that we thought was in their own heads in the later half of stage 1. So not doing anything and not practicing might at some points be the right choice.
It's a healthy break. Let's get into some of the gameplay as we take a look at King's Row. This all opened up with the Widowmaker play. For both teams, they were pulling out the Widow on point A, but there was one that stayed on it a bit longer. Fleta was taking faces before eventually switching up to the Genji and eventually a Sombra.
Yeah, he ran it on the whole of point A, broke that, soon actually countered the other side as well. But then he's running it all the way through to the Foundry stage and finding pick after pick, and it was a ridiculous percentage of his final kills were actually on their support players. So, like you were saying, again, the support players are going to die, and that seems to be the theme of Seoul Dynasty.
But you know, we're here in LA and we care about health and fitness, so that's why we're not going to sugarcoat it. Los Angeles Valiant did not play very well today, and I think that's really what ended up causing them their biggest issue. Like, they just flat out individually were not up to the level that Seoul Dynasty was. Soon just had an off game, Agility's had an off game, pretty much across the board. They just did not look like the team that we saw in stage 1.
And let's take a look at Soon. The Tracers here, always important. We highlight the DPS players, well, the Tracer She's your fastest one on the field. Bunny was winning this battle. You see the final blow difference, 12-4. Pulse bombs going in favor of Seoul Dynasty. Bunny had Soon's number, it felt like, this entire series, which is definitely different from the first time these two teams matched up.
Yes, in the entirety of stage 1, Soon was absolutely dominating. You got to say he was one of the best tracers, just hands down. But the fact that Bunny came so alive now is, I think, tied to the fact that Mercy isn't in the meta anymore. He can play those backlines and be able to get onto Zenyatta's and Lucio's. Whereas before, if he's trying to duel a Mercy and a Zenyatta, the Zen stays up longer because they've got more heals, and then he was getting headshot all the time. So I think he got kind of scared to take these backline duels, and right now, they are not scared at all. Bunny and Fleta are going wild.
But I think you can't underestimate the maps being played as well, because now that you have two players on Tracer that have to tackle a new map, if you had the advantage in the previous one and you're trying to live up to the standard that Soon has placed, you have to learn his ways and figure out where the right places to be as Tracer. But now, new map, you basically have the same moves that he does as well, so you're on a more level playing field when you're trying to take the Tracer v Tracer battle.
Hey, Crumbs, you ready for this one?
Yeah, I'm ready. What you got?
Final day of stage 2. Who do you rather have on your team, Bunny or Soon on Tracer?
I'd take Bunny right now.
Bunny right now? Final day, though. Where are you going?
I will say it, yeah.
Still going with Bunny. Okay, yeah. Just making sure. Let's get into game number 4. Seoul has already locked up the match, but as you saw, they missed the playoffs due to map differential. Today, they get their 4-0, and it was all by killing the supports. We put together a little montage here, and you can just see how awful this has to feel being a Valiant support player today.
Yes, I think part of that is because we saw the switches in support compositions for LA Valiant throughout the whole of stage 1. Is Unko playing the Mercy? Is Kareev? Kareev's not in the lineup today. They've got Verbo back. It's a new meta. You don't play Mercy. I think all of these changes are going into the fact that they're slightly more vulnerable than their Seoul Dynasty counterparts. But also, when you're playing against the Sombra, which they did repeatedly, you are pushed into a horrible position because you have to play aggressive and abandon your supports to try and kill them. Otherwise, you're just going to get hacked and die, and Envy got hacked repeated.
Yeah, I mean, keeping Zenyatta alive as a Lucia right now is next to impossible. You just see him slipping away from your hands every single time, unlike what it was Mercy before. You turn him into an artillery bot, and he just starts killing everyone. So right now, the Zenyatta, you just leave him alone and just have him go die the entire time. So it makes it a lot more frustrating for the team, and I think breakdowns in communication is what clearly happened to the Valiant, as you have them diving while their own supports get dove in a significantly worse fashion.
Now, Seoul Dynasty, this has been a squad that's been on the up in the first half of stage 1, on the down in the second half of stage 1, but it seems they're back to their old form. In this final clip, we want to show you just how good they are at stalling points. Sideshow, this is something you talked about on the desk while the game was live. What do they do? How do they accomplish this time and time again?
It's crazy, isn't it? Seoul Dynasty have got such great coordination when it comes to these overtime plays. It always looks like it's an unsavable situation, and yet they're able to block it. Part of it is, again, running this Sombra, the triple support. They have massive ultimates that they're able to come into it. They've also got Sustain coming into that as well. But I think the tank play has been much improved from what we saw in stage 1. Now that Miro doesn't have to face, as you said, artillery machine Zenyatas all over the place.
Wait till Jonek's out.
Yeah, wait until he faces Jonek, maybe. We have to see, because as soon as you decrease the survivability of the Zenyatta, I feel like he becomes far less of a threat for Miro, so he's able to stay alive.
Your wings are beautiful. Sorry, we're all distracted, Sideshow. And do you know why else I'm distracted? Because we have the Omen Player of the Match. This is, of course, your Player of the Match, sponsored by Omen by HP. And, of course, it's Bunny today. A lot of people expecting Fleta, but if you look at the numbers, Bunny was going off. We showed you some stats from Game 3, winning the duel against Soon in this Tracer role.
He really did. Before, we would have highlighted Tracer as a problem for the Seoul Dynasty, but now they have Bunny just having a crazily good game. He just was all over the place. When you have a new map that allows you to thrive in different ways that nobody had seen before, it's hard to prepare for what Bunny's going to bring to the table now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like Fleta definitely had a shot in this, played really well, also had the Sombra. But again, it's this idea that Bunny had been so improved as well over previously. He had an insane performance, 101 eliminations over the course of that, and a lot of these final blows that he was getting on his own, kind of individual kills.
41 final blows, just 17 deaths. Bunny is our Player of the Match, sponsored by Omen by HP. A good first matchup, but we still have 2 more to go. LA, are you guys enjoying the show so far? Coming up next, we got some fan favorites in the venue. It's going to be the Dallas Fuel going up against the Shanghai Dragons after the break.